Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. If you want to say a few words, now's the time.
Okay, we're gathered together to give the kavod achron our beloved Bunny Spiegel's Kohen Lebracha. Yissocher Doiv and Moshe Zelig, all of our shalom. The last month we were davening for him every day. Couldn't believe our beloved, anyone who knew Bunny, person with such neimus, person, every person David Bunny has always smile, always a nice word, always. Anyone heard Bunny is not well. Everyone heart born down is dive Gittel, but now Bayna Shloim took him from us. And it's interesting. The Parsha speaks about Mishpatim, and the famous Rashi in the beginning of the Parsha, Ve'ela Mishpatim, Vav Moispal Rishonim. That's the Ve'ela Mishpatim. Vav Moispal, that it's added to the beginning, to the Ma Rishonim Sinai, Ave'ela Sinai. Just like we read Aser Sedibris yesterday, it came from Sinai. So this whole parsha is also from Sinai. So the question is, what does the Torah want to teach us over here? Sure, the whole Torah is Sinai. We know the parsha is about Sinai. Everything was given to Sinai. What does the Torah want to teach us here? But there's another Chazal that teaches that when you want to learn these mishpatim, the rules of etiquette, the rules of business, go to Yidden, not to Goyim. You would think that you could learn it from other people. You have to know the etiquette of a Jew is different than the etiquette of someone else. The etiquette of a Yid, the rules of a Yid is different. Today is the yard side of B'tzror Salanter. So Salanter's yard side is today. So Salanter, somebody once asked him, someone asked him, you're not allowed to do this. He says, where does it say it? It says in Chosh Mishpat. Where in Chosh Mishpat? It says, my Chosh Mishpat is much thicker than your Chosh Mishpat. The Chosh Mishpat of a Yid, it's not just what says in the words it's how a Yid acts in business, how a Yid acts towards other people, how a Yid acts lawfully. Anyone who knew Bunny, he is the one who depicts this. The way he acted in every action that he did. His Chosh Mishpat, he was an accountant, the Mishpatim, but the way he did it was so ehrlich, everything. Times he called me up, everything had to be done, and everything they did in the hachaim and Yordeya, Chosh Mishpat, Avnezer. He was someone. He always spoke about his mother, how his mother sent him to yeshiva. Here, an American boy sent him off as a young boy to yeshiva, and always told him, "Gedenk." So I be gedenken for was it alles. He always quoted his mother and father, and always quoted what they said. I remember once I took a long ride with him, and he was speaking about his youth, how he loved the way he saw the learning Torah. I mean, he loved sitting down and learning. He loved hearing about Torah, loved doing the right thing. But Maya Meshoinim Messinai, Avela Messinai. The person shouldn't think that we do things just ethically because we feel it's right. We do it because Hashem told us. Pirkei Avos that speaks about midos starts off also Moshe Kibbel Torah Messinai. The midas tovus of a person is we learn from Sinai. As Sinai, the Dubna Maggid says that the Yid's loy signoi, Yid's not stealing is different than other loy signoi. Stealing means even to fool a person. Das. The Torah says I shouldn't kill a person. Killing a person, embarrassing a person is called killing him. In halacha, in Hilchas Torah, embarrassing a person, not paying a person on time is like you're killing him. And the Maggid explains because the main thing is not only you shouldn't hurt the person, you shouldn't be a person who wants to kill. You should be a person who should be kind of midas tovus. Anyone who was kind of midas tovus was funny. the midas toivus that he had. I used to be Yissocher every time he used to come, for Mechiras Chometz, and he brought he had everything printed out from the whole family and everyone. But he came with such lecheretz, such neimus. I loved speaking to him, a person who you loved associating with him. And this is the time of year always in Zayin Adar, when he was the one who was the gabbai of the Gemelos Chasodim, the gabbai of the Feld, the gabbai of the Chevra Kadisha. He always used to give an accurate report every year, exactly how every penny, what he did, what he went, and he was so happy to get up and speak to the people how important it is to buy a caver and how important it is to have a caver. He's the one who took care of all of it, and that's why Yissocher that he was niftar on Shabbos. Chazal teach us someone is niftar on Shabbos. Simiyopiloi, it's a very big simon. It's a simon that you go right to the menucha, because he was a person with menucha, a person. His attitude in life was menuchadik, always menuchadik. Every time he spoke was so softly, so menuchadik. Yissocher together with his wife stark, the Mimagadol, his beautiful family that he has, and that's the neimus, the tznius, the midas of Kol Yisrael. Achmanim Baishonim Vegoyim Chasodim. You want to see a yid, you see if they're Rachman. That's a simon of a yid, a Baishon, and Goyim Chasodim. That was Bunny. Bunny, we miss you so much. We'll miss you this year, Zayin Adar. Even though it was hard the other time when you came last year, it was hard for you, but you came and spoke to us. And in the beautiful words you spoke always about the chiyuv of making sure that everyone has the proper kavura, everyone has the proper kaver. The help that you're zeicha to this kavura in this day. Bunny will miss you, especially your chashva wife who was so dedicated to you. Will miss you so much. Your children who were so dedicated to you. The kibbutz aim that you had to your parents, and they went and duplicated that and mirrored that. Bunny, you go up to Shemayim. We're in the pandemic now. You were so careful in this pandemic, not to chasron, nothing to happen. And the bunch was geyser this gezerah that you were part of this gezerah for some reason. But now you're somebody who could go up to Shemayim and daven for all of us. No one else should be taken from this during this pandemic. We should be zeicha. Just like you were made Yioisroel for everybody. Every time you found the good, every time I spoke to you, you found the good in every person. You saw the good in every person. You saw how every person has a midah toiva, ayin toiva. That was your ayin toiva, always seeing the good in every person, seeing the good in everything in the world. So you're going up to Shemayim with your ayin toiva, Ezra B'nai Shalom with your good eye. The Baycrest should have rachmanas on us already, that the pandemic should end, all the tzrurah should end. The Baycrest should have give koyach for your chashuv wife, should have koyach to continue leading your beautiful being the matriarch of your beautiful family, your chashuv children, and your daughters-in-law, and your son-in-law, the whole family. Everyone should maybe be zeicha to continue your beautiful, continue to mirror your ways, to emulate your ways. And should be zeicha elam mishpatim ashtos mevneim. Should be zeicha with this. The Torah ended last week's parsha with the Binyan Beis Hamikdash, and it stops with elam mishpatim. And then later with Truma to teach us how when you're building a Beis Hamikdash, you're building a home. It should be mishpatim. You built your home at mishpatim. You built your home. Your Beis Hamikdash mount was full of mishpatim, the right justice to do everything properly, to do everything the way to do the mamanis properly, to do the cheretz properly, and one should hope that your family should continue your tradition, your way, continue the way your parents instilled in you. We should zeicha together to see Bilam Avos and Netzach, Moch Hashem Kimdam Kvanim, to see the Biyas Agal B'Meir B'Meinu, Amen.
Let me see if you will. Let me just change because I take from here over here. I don't hear you. Okay, Eric is going to say a few words.
I'll start blubbering anyway.
This microphone is for up here.
No, my daughter printed it out. I didn't know how to print it out. Yeah, yeah. That's fine.
Hang on, Miriam's gonna come. Lily's gonna come.
I'm not criticizing.
Don't get a sweet time.
How does one summarize a life in 5 minutes or less? It's almost insulting, especially for a giant of a man as my father. I will try my best, but I will not do him justice. My dad was born on the first day of Pesach, right after the Seder. He was the youngest of 5 children, of which only my Aunt Rita, his youngest sister, is still alive. May she live and be well. He had a hard childhood, and because his parents couldn't afford to buy new clothes, was forced to sometimes wear his sister's old clothes to school. I say this not to criticize his parents, God forbid, but to let people know how tough times were in juxtaposition to the life and comfort that we have today. His beloved mother passed away when he was just 18, and my mother never had the privilege of being here. My parents met when my father was just 18 and my mother was 16. I know that would seem scandalous in today's world of reducing boys and girls to a single page of facts and notations, but times were different then. My father knew right away that this was the girl he wanted to build a life with. It was the best decision of his life. Despite opposition from the Polish and Hungarian communities, my parents became what was called the first intermarried couple in Toronto. My mother worked while my father finished school, and then exactly 50 years ago started his accounting business, which still exists today. My parents started the business together, worked together, built their family together, and were constant companions for the entire 64 years that they were married. It is impossible to talk about my father without speaking about my mother. They were intertwined in every aspect of life 24 hours a day. I never saw them argue or fight. That was our normal, and I never thought that anyone was any different, even though it was so difficult for my parents at the beginning of their married life. In fact, so difficult that my mother chose to buy a fridge instead of getting an engagement ring. I never felt deprived of anything growing up. My father lived by Perak Aleph Mishnah Yud Beis of Pirkei Avos. Hillel v'shamai kiblu mehem. Hillel Aimer Avim mitalmidav shel Aharon. Oyev shalom, roidev shalom, oyev esabriyos, makarven latara. He practiced that his entire life, whether it was trying to mediate disputes between people in various facets of life, finding people jobs, inviting people for lunch as he just met, helping people who called or he knew needed assistance of whatever nature. He did it without fanfare and behind the scenes. I've already heard stories of how he helped people that I had no idea about, even though I sat within feet of his office for more than 38 years. He was involved with the cemetery foundations and shuls of different institutions for several years, always saying that doing so was so important, even though it is a thankless job. He always regarded it as a toil of love and would put aside work that would benefit him monetarily to do so. My father loved people from an early age, and that character trait continued until yesterday. No matter what country, race, or religion someone was from or belonged to, my father would know how to make people comfortable and become instant friends with them. Because of his immense knowledge of history and different languages, he could converse with anyone about almost any topic. He loved to converse in Yiddish, which was his first language, with the older guys who had come from Europe, in Italian with his Italian friends and clients, and in Hungarian, which he picked up from my mother and his mother-in-law. He loved making corny or eye-rolling jokes, depending on your perspective, in different languages, which always made people laugh. He had a knack of connecting with people from all ages, from very young to very old, always keenly interested in what people had to say. He had a thirst love for knowledge, which we saw in evidence daily. He loved to learn, sitting in his office or at home with an article of Gemara or Chumash while listening to his beloved classical music. This past Hanukkah, he asked our daughter Malka what she wanted for a Hanukkah present. She replied that she wanted a set of Mikrois Gedalos Kamashim. He was thrilled with her response and immediately ordered it for her. He inscribed each Chumash for her, and she will have this tangible memory of him every time she opens any one of the 5 Sforim for the rest of her life. And my father will have this because of her learning each time she does so. Sorry. I've discussed only a minimal amount of my father's incredible life, but time is short and the weather is freezing. It is not surprising that Hashem would provide a day and time where only a minimum amount of people could attend. He never sought the limelight and would have been embarrassed by the amount of people who would have attended his Levaya in normal times. I want to conclude with his love of family. As much as he loved other people, his family was always special to him. He loved all his siblings and their extended families, often picking up the phone or taking calls at all hours of the day or night. He loved his children and did everything in his power to help each one of us in whichever way he could. His pride and joy were his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren. On Thursday this week, our children, Sarah and Avi, had their first child, a great-grandson from my father. On Friday, our children, Rebecca and Aryeh, gave him his first great-granddaughter. On Shabbos Kodesh, Parshas Yisrael, Hashem called him home to his eternal rest, but not before allowing him the privilege of being with us for the new arrivals. I have to publicly thank our son Yaakov, who was instrumental in guiding us through the medical situation with grace, compassion, and patience. We were constantly pestering him with questions, and he had to deal with that while deferring his own grief on the loss of his grandfather, with whom he had such a connection. My wife Miriam and my sisters-in-law Sarah and Denise have been pillars of strength during this difficult time, and we will always be grateful for that. My father was my dad, my business partner, and my best friend. I never lived more than 5 minutes away from him and my mom. We saw each other at minimum 6 days a week and usually 7 days a week. My children had the privilege and luxury of seeing him all the time, and he will be with them forever. Our grief and sadness today is palpable, but with the sadness, we must give thanks to God for allowing us, and especially me, the privilege of having my father in my life every day, and to the extent he was. How many people are afforded such opportunity and privilege? My final words are from my mother. You and Dad meant everything to each other. God granted you 64 years together. Dad was who he was because of you, and you are what you are because of him. The love, admiration, and above all the respect that you had for each other was amazing to see, and is a lesson to us all. Your emunah was evident when you said that your mother had only 37 years with your father, so how can you give anything but thanks for 64 years together? We need your strength to carry us through these difficult times. We all promise that we will be there for you always for anything that you need. I need to ask forgiveness from you for not always being as respectful as a son should be to a father. And for not expressing my deep love for you when I had the opportunity. It is something I will always regret. I wish to thank all the people who have said to Hillel, phoned and emailed to see how we were doing, setting up meals and already arranging for Mishnayos in my father's memory, Rabbi Lowy, Slimy, Boo Boo for their help and the arrangements, and Akiva for the arrangements today. I also want to express special thanks to the people, including my son Aryeh, who arranged and attended the Yom Naram and Sukkot Minyan this year, so he could attend Minyan, and the Baal Tefillah who davened with such passion, love, and devotion for all of us. Thank you. We want to hear from you. Well, that's kind of a tough act to follow from my brother. He basically said pretty much everything. My father came from very humble beginnings and never forgot where he was from. He did not have an easy path in life. He lost his mother when he was 18. He lost his only brother, much too young. He suffered greatly while watching his sisters endured debilitating illness, as well as burying his best friend. But this is not his legacy. He was giving of his time and resources to all that asked. Almost without exception, everyone who crossed his path was struck by his kindness, his wit, his authenticity, and his honesty. Yiddishkeit and Jewish identity was at my father's core. He took great pride in his growing up with his father's refusal to work on Shabbos during a period and time which this resulted from him not being able to earn a parnasa, and his family paid the price. They sent my father to Yeshiva Torvis in the 50s, which allowed him to meet my mother, who also traveled on the train to New York to Beis Yaakov. This year would have been my parents' 65th year together. My father was the embodiment of Mesemech Bechalko. My parents managed their marriage, and their time together was like no other. While I was a young boy, I recall all my married cousins talking about how my parents' marriage and their love, their respect, mutual admiration that they had for each other was so special. I didn't really recognize it because I basically thought that's how everyone's marriage was. But as I'm older now, I realize how special it was. My father was a man of conviction. He was always up for debate and discussion and ready to speak with anyone who wanted to engage. I cannot begin to tell you how many times my brothers and I complained to him about waiting for him to leave shul. He was always the last one. I moved away about 20 years ago, which seems to have passed in a blink of an eye. I think my father and I developed a relationship that was a little bit different than the one that we had while I lived in his house. He was always keen to hear about my children's exploits, my wife's career, and our life in general. One of the last things my father did for us was purchasing fill-in for the upcoming bar mitzvah of my son, Nate, and as he has done for all of his other male grandchildren. Not too long ago, I was speaking with my parents, and my father remarked that one of the things he was most proud of us was that he was able to bring up children who were honest. My father was the epitome of honesty, integrity, and being forthright. And seeing this in my siblings and myself was a sense of accomplishment for him. He often said that the Spiegels never took the easy path, and this is his legacy as well. How fortunate I am to be a man in my 50s and had the success of having both my parents alongside of me this far in life. This has changed now, but I will be forever grateful for this, while so many others that I grew up with cannot say the same thing. Around our family's tables, my siblings all used to joke how similar my father and I were, and vice versa. We used to look at each other, my father and I, and shrug and say, "No way, we got nothing to do. Want to know what you're talking about." If I can become half the man that my father was, I will make this world a better place.
Okay, anybody who's at the cemetery, Dudi and Yaini, if you want to come and help a little bit with the shoveling, please make your way for here now. Thank you. Take my glass.
Think so.
take it out and help you push it in. Here, you can do Kriya now. Barry, he's gonna do Kriya now. Eric. Left side, prepare it a little bit, make the bracha. Come around this side. There, some say this, we'll say this meanwhile. Okay, we're going to say Atzur Tomim Palai. Asher be a copy of the program, but still was it for the Oh yeah, Brooklyn, I'm swimming some pirate. Yeah, I'm sure difficult, Michelle Lodom, Fishbone, but I call Ishmael, which I you don't know what it's like the Bracken is going to be short in La Rocker. Either short tech, I got what Mishmatech, Dynamess, Select them, it's Brooklyn, I'm Select them, never shall have a Select Molla. Minach with that, I'll play that soy, but that was several out there. Legal, I'm sure you know some video. Like if you're shouting my super level, so boy, I didn't know, so now they're looking and showing their proper I'm saying the question is what you're telling. Follow me as a college company, Adam. Yeah, same test. Then test, and then they're going to say the Kaddish. Okay, they call this the Kaddish. As soon as we have out of 10. 1 second. With the Kaddish. No, it's full. Okay. Go ahead. Kadisha. Ask everybody to make the shura, and then when you get there, you can switch shoes. Okay? And the car is switch shoes. Thank you. Don't thank me.
I'm going to allow everyone to unmute themselves, but I'm going to ask that first the Rabbanim are given a chance to unmute themselves. Everyone should keep themselves muted unless you're actually speaking. So first, the Rabbanim will have a chance to wish the family nechama, and afterwards, please allow the family members to wish the family nechama, and then the rest of us can offer nechama. I'm now going to allow everybody to unmute themselves, but please keep yourself muted unless you're the one speaking, and please allow the Rabbanim to speak first, after which the family will speak, and then the rest of us. Rabbi Lowy?
Yes. Hashem should accompany. I know it's going to be so hard to someone who is so beloved and so close to the family. Always spoke about the family and so close to our Besmedish Agudah and so close to everybody. Hashem should give you koyach that you should be able to remember his smile, remember his chesed, his good deeds, remember his always his mannerism, and Yissocher, Yissocher, Aveli Yitzim Yisrael, we should be zocheh to see Baycrest, the binyan HaMikdash from here.
Oh, here you are. She's on there. Here.
Amen.
The water was for you. Wait a minute. No, that's not.
If there are any other Rabbanim over here, I would ask to please unmute yourself and to wish a nechama to the family. So at this point, I would like to ask family members first to unmute yourself one at a time and please offer a nechama.
Oh, I have a question. Let me just start talking, say something. Rama, try to say something. Or put your father's voice down.
I'm totally confused.
Not father's voice.
המקום ינחם אתכם בתוך שאר אבלי ציון בירושלים.
Malka Minachem Eschem B'Sosha V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim.
I would ask, please identify yourself when you're wishing the Chama so that the family, when they listen to it, they know who's speaking.
Shmuel Semi Spiegel. Malcolm Menachem Eschem B'Sech Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim.
Malcolm Menachem Eschem B'Sech Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim. Should have only simchas, good news, b'siras tavos, nachas, and nachama.
Yidi and Perry Kahan, Hamakom Yenachem Eschem B'Soch Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim. Should only share simchas.
Hamakom Yenachem Eschem Toch Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim. Baba, be strong and be proud of the family that you and Bunny built together.
Go ahead.
David and Tzrurah and Nussbaum, we Hamakom Yenachem Eschem B'Sach Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim. You should know no more tsar, but you should have nachas from the kinder, the einiklach and the ur einiklach.
Susie and Barry Wolf. Susie and Barry Wolf.
Hamakom Menachem Eschem B'Toch Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim.
Hamakom Menachem Eschem B'Toch Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim. Our heart aches for Buddy and Adrienne and the family. We love you and miss you so much. But you established a legacy that we hope to continue to carry on. Only smachot in the future for this wonderful family.
Amen. Hamakom Menachem Eschem.
Earl and Sammy Nussbaum.
Hold on, that's we had this feedback.
Hamakom Yenachem Eschem B'Toch Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim. Uncle Bunny and Auntie Adrienne are the most special people I know. Hashem should give you strength and to continue your beautiful family of which we were so much a part of. We love you.
Oh, David Heiser.
Elliot and Malka Spiegel. Hamakom Menachem Eschem Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim.
Hamakom Menachem Eschem B'Soch Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim.
Okay, Kathy.
Well, what can I say?
Identify yourself.
This is Yehudi Nussbaum and my wife, Dawn. On the one hand, there's many things that could be said about Uncle Bunny and his dear family. On the other hand, there's not much. He's now up, joins his father Abraham in heaven. And I just wish that the family could have a milchama for quite an enormous loss that he will be not only to his individual family, but also to anybody that had any much to do with him, because you couldn't hear a bad word about Uncle Bunny, and he'll be a great loss to the Jewish community here in Canada and across the world. So Hamakom Menachem Eschem B'Sech Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim.
Yes, and my deep condolences to all the family.
Hamakom Menachem Eschem B'Sech Shar V'Leitzion V'Yishalayim. This is Marna, Myron from Chicago. Uncle Bunny was 1 in a million. He was so special, and without doubt, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew what he was doing, but for us, it's a terrible, terrible loss. Uncle Bunny had the unique ability to make any person in the world feel as though he was his best friend. That was one of Uncle Bunny's unique characteristics. And we're sure that Eric and Benjamin and David and Frumet will carry on this legacy of tzidkus and gutkeit. We will miss him terribly, terribly. Auntie Adrienne, I cry with you. He was so special. He was special to us. We didn't have the money to buy our house. And you and Uncle Bunny loaned us the additional money we needed to buy our house. You never said a word, but I have to say it now because I have to thank you and Uncle Bunny for robbing. I have to give him the covet he deserves. And he did so many things quietly and nobody knew a word, nobody knew a thing, but that was the way he wanted it done. He wasn't looking for covet, he wasn't looking for recognition. He just wanted to do a simple mitzvah for a Yid. That was his good kite, and we will miss him terribly.
Special people that we knew, and he will always remain in our hearts, and we will love him forever.
And this is their son, Ellie. I never knew that story about Uncle Bunny. Now I do. Thank you for being there for my parents. And I want to wish you that we should only know good and we should only share in simchas together.
Hi, this is Hirsch, Uncle Bunny's nephew. As the youngest of his siblings, he was right in between his generation and the generation of our cousins, the generation down below. As a result, he had that ability to travel between both generations, and everybody, all the cousins looked at him as their favorite uncle. And of course, his siblings and that generation admired him and loved him greatly. He was missed enormously by us. Just the force of his personality and his character just filled the room every time he was in the room. We'll miss him terribly. You should have only good memories, the best memories from his life, and that should give you nechama going forward.
Dear Auntie Adrienne and Eric and Benjamin Nuppi and Frumet and David, it's Nussi. We also dearly loved Uncle Bunny. I felt a special kinship to him. My mother, soll sie gesund und stark sein, would always refer to her baby brother and her baby and I felt I shared that in common with him. He was very, very precious to my dear mother. They shared something very special, and everyone who crossed Bunny's paths shared something special in life because Bunny was just that kind of guy. Hamakom, Yinachem Eschem B'Socher V'Eltzin Yerushalayim. We love you. We loved Uncle Bunny. Wish you to Nechama from the beautiful family that Adrienne, you and Bunny built together. My dear cousins, should meet by Simchas Bez Hashem.
It's Lowy. Adrienne, I want to tell you we feel so sorry. And I'm not coming to you and the children should just have nechama, and Rabbi Hashem should give you koyach.
Hi, it's David Spiegel. I'd like to say,
Hello?
We hear you.
Yes, this is Stephen Mandel. We had the great zchus about 15 years ago of becoming part of the Spiegel family when Barry introduced David to Sarah. And you know, we joined a wonderful family. Bernard was always a source of strength for us as well. My wife, when she was down, she would call Bernard, and Bernard would always have something of strengthening to say to my wife to pick up her spirits. And it's a truly great loss that the Spiegels are experiencing, and we just want to express Bernard will truly be missed. He always made us felt part of the family, and he will be missed. And you know, our thoughts go with the entire Spiegel family.
Hi, it's Sherry Nussbaum, niece to Uncle Bunny, and I'm just so emotional seeing all the cousins from all the siblings, Uncle Al, Uncle Bunny, and Ray, and my mother-in-law, Gilda Shalom, and Auntie Rita. She should live a long life. And this is so emotional because everyone here had a different relationship with Uncle Bunny. I know the older generation, which is above me, had a different relationship than what I had. I have always been close to Miriam and that age generation. And I had the zchus to have Uncle Bunny sit Shiva in my house for my mother-in-law. And I felt like I got to know him a lot better when he was here and the whole family came together. And I'm always in awe of the Spiegel family, how they always worked together and they lived together, they ate together, they did everything together. And it was just, I was always in awe of it. And I was just so inspired. And I always wish that my family would be like that we'd all be together the same way they were together. And the same way all the siblings are together, Eric and David and Benjamin and Frumet. And I wish for Adrienne a lot of nachas and simcha from all her beautiful, beautiful children and grandchildren. And wish only all of us here, all of us cousins should get together on physically and personally for simchas. And hamakom yinachem eschem b'Yisroel avelitzim Yerushalayim. And I always say at every Shiva that everybody has, we always say you should only have simchas, but the reality in life is that we don't only have simchas, and we all know this. So the simchas in our lives should outweigh the tzrurah in our lives. And I love you all, and only simchas to everybody.
This is
Yossi, it's Akiva. Can I say a few words?
Please.
I guess I could.
You coming under the
I just
rabbi
wanna
banner.
first of all thank everybody who took the time to join in on Zoom this afternoon.
Which one is mine?
It was surreal to be there, and obviously the shock hasn't been fully absorbed. I just want to remind everybody that the beautiful sentiments and memories and emotions that you're sharing now, it's important to be able to tell them personally to the family when you have that opportunity. I think this is in a sense, a practice when you call them in your Menachem Avol to be able to tell it to them live as well. So as I'm listening here and reveling in everything it says is true, and I know the Spiegel family quite well, they would really want to hear more than anything the love and affection and the longing that you all feel for Uncle Bunny and his family. So take a moment during the week to call them as well. And thank you, Yossi, for managing the room. Thank you.
Amen. We should only have simchas.
Hi, this is Fritz and Betty Bernfeld. Could we still say a few words?
Yes, please.
Okay, Uncle Bunny, we're gonna miss you. And Adrienne, you should be strong and keep your strength till now for further many years. And I hope Betty could say a few words because she's very, very emotional.
Uncle Bunny was a very special person in the family. He was larger than life. And it's going to be very difficult not having him here, not getting a hug, not feeling his warmth and love. We will miss him very, very, very much. He and Auntie Adrienne were very, very special people. Their home was always open. As young couples, we used to congregate at their home on Sundays. They never, ever, ever implied that it was an imposition, that maybe they had something better to do. No matter when we came, we didn't have to be announced. We were welcomed with open arms. And Auntie Adrienne would always feed us. And Uncle Bunny would always regale us with stories and make us smile and make us want to come back. We hope that Bunny will find his place in Gan Eden. And the Ribono Shel Olam should watch over him, and he should be a good petirah for the whole family, and especially for Auntie Adrienne. Hamakom Yenachem Eschem. Yissocher. Yisrael.
Simchas.
Oh, amen.
Can we say a few words? I don't know what's going on.
I'm asking everybody to unmute yourself one at a time and continue to wish well the family, please. Don't be shy.
What do I step? What do I press? Microphone. Hello?
Yes, you're unmuted. You can speak.
Okay, this is Shmuel and Henny Zucker from New York, nephews of Uncle Bunny. You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. We all love Bunny so much. We had these long conversations with him and Baba from New York, and also when he was in Florida, we always got together, and we loved speaking with him, and he was an unbelievable person. As a matter of fact, we were in Toronto many, many years ago when Rabbi Lowy, which spoke so beautifully about Bunny today, and he described them so eloquently. We happened to be there in Toronto when Rabbi Lowy came many years ago for Shavuos, when they were interviewing him to be the Rav in the shul in Agudah. And we stayed in Bunny and Bubba's house, and we will never forget that. And the whole family should have a nechama, Eric, and his wife Miriam, and the rest of the family. And you should only have simchas from your wonderful family.
My mother sitting right here, Yotka, and she wants to say a few words. Adrienne's sister.
Adrienne, I know how you feel, and it's a terrible thing which happened, and I always love you and feel with you.
Oh, we're not on yet, are we? Yeah. Hello?
We can hear you.
Jerry and Tammy Belitsky. What a wonderful example your father set. And more than that, what a wonderful foundation he has made for you. And more than that, he had the schus to see all the buildings that are being built on that foundation. The base Bunny and Adrienne that is continuing and continuing with such beauty. We wish you all simchas.
Our heartfelt condolences. A terrible loss.
Alita Mandel. I'm Sarah's cousin, but I feel like when Sarah married into the family, we were all adopted by the Spiegels. I just want to say, I love you guys.
Hello. This is Naftali Spiegel. I just wanted to say, Hamakom Menachem Eschem Yissocher Shar Avilasin Yisrael.
Please don't be shy. Please feel free to unmute yourself.
Hey everybody, this is Moshe and Dina Amender from Hillside, great nephew of Uncle Bunny and Auntie Adrienne. Just wanted to wish you a Makom Menachem Eschem Shevra at Yisrael. We should only have happy occasions together.
Hi, this is Gabrielle Wolf, Eaton Hirschwolf's daughter. Uncle Bunny was my great uncle and always made me feel so special. Makom Menachem Eschem b'Tochar Yisroel.
Hi, I'm Lasry. I'm Frumet's daughter. I really don't know what to say. I live in Israel, which is a huge privilege, but I was always really sad that I couldn't live closer to my grandparents because they're really special people. I just miss my grandfather so much. My parents are divorced, and lots of kids whose parents are divorced have a hard time believing in like if they'll find someone. But I always said like, no, look at my grandparents. They have such true love. And I always hope that I find that too. And every time I went to Canada and I saw that wall where there was everybody who graduated college was on it, I always hoped that both my grandparents would live to see me going on that wall. And I'm in the middle of 12th grade, and I don't even know if I was that close, but I really hope they'd at least see me going to the army and I could make them proud as the first granddaughter to go to the army. And I just hope that he's looking down and he'll see me going to the army and he'll see me succeed and get a career. I miss you so much, Grandpa, and I love you. And I'm sorry that I couldn't be next to you.
Hi, I'm Rena Deutsch. I am the daughter of David and Betty, a great niece to Uncle Bunny, who I have just the fondest memories of from the Purim Suda, the family Purim Suda that we used to have, and from the cottage that we used to share. And as my mother mentioned, we used to go over there on Sunday nights. I remember as a kid going over on Sunday nights, and Auntie Adrienne always, I don't know why it's French fries that sticks out in my mind. Then Auntie Adrienne would always make us French fries in the ovens that were on the wall, and I thought that was so cool. And they had awesome toys in the basement, and Uncle Bunny's laugh used to fill up the room, and we will miss him so, so much. And Auntie Adrienne and Eric and Benjamin and David and Frumet, I'm so sorry, and my heart is with you. Hashem should give you just strength and nechama. We love you.
We'll leave this open until 4 o'clock, so we have just another 10 minutes if anybody wants to wish a nechama. Oh. We hear you.
Hi, everyone. Do you hear me?
Yes, please speak.
Okay. This is Ivan and Phyllis Gluck in Florida. And I just want to say that thank everyone who spoke so beautifully about Bernie and Adrienne, special people, special friends. On behalf of all the people here in Grandview and Hollywood, Florida, I think Bernie was the greatest guy in the world, a great friend, a true and fantastic Yid for Yiddishkeit. He always spoke beautifully about everybody. It was a pleasure to know him. Very, very sad that he passed away, but he's in a better world. So we just want to express to the whole family. Everybody spoke beautifully. We should have nachas, stay strong, Adrienne. And it was a pleasure to hear everyone speak so beautifully. It was a pleasure to know him and to be his friend. And he was a great, great, great guy and a great, great hockey fan. So we had a lot of things in common. And it was, again, a privilege to have known him. And it was very, very nice. A tribute from everyone who spoke today. And truly be missed. And anything we can do for the family, please let us know. So we're very emotionally. I can't say the word. And thank everybody for
family.
For
Sending you our love.
For your good words. Adrienne, we love you, and the boys and the whole family here and in Israel. We wish you only good things. It was a pleasure to know Bernie. We will miss him greatly. A true friend. Thank you for letting me speak. Stay well, everyone. Thank you.
It's Yaakov Friedman here from the neighborhood. Such a sad day. I always knew how much of a patriarch Ani was to his immediate family, as I saw firsthand. I've learned today of how much he meant for his great expanded family, how important he was, and he was really a patriarch of our community here, the Baycrest community. And just one thing that I don't think has been mentioned today, but it's one of his many zechusim that he's taking up to Shemayim. He stood up over all the years that I've lived here, fighting at the top of the fight to make sure that the Is Avram Yosef Shul in the Baycrest terrace would always stay in place. He fought to have 3 minyanim a day there, which continued until almost a year ago when this machla hit us that we really need to keep diving to Hashem to take away. And it's really his, not just his chus, but his direct actions and fighting and making sure that that minyan would stay as a traditional Orthodox from minyan for all the years. And I hope that we'll be able to continue that very, very soon. The entire family should have a nechama, and as was stated, we can't wish them only happy occasions, but I echo that the happy occasions should far outweigh all of the sad ones.
I'm Yaakov Mandel. I'm Sarah, David's husband's brother. And I just wanted to thank Bernard and the whole family for all the kindness that they've shown to our family through the years. And I just wanted to say, our hearts go out to you guys.
Hi, my name is Arya Lasry. I'm from Itzan.
I also live in Israel, and I don't know what to say. I'm just terrible at these speech things, but my grandpa was Bernie Spiegel was my grandpa. He was a great, great man. He will be missed dearly. He always knew how to make me laugh, and he was just a great man. And his relationship with Adrienne, my grandmother, was inspiring. Like, they were everything for each other, and it just inspiring. And grandma and everyone's be strong, and and I'm here for you, grandma, and Frumet, my mom, and everyone. I'm here for you. I'm so sorry for your loss. He will be missed dearly. Baruch Dayana Emet.
Hi, this is Yossi Simon. Mr. Spiegel was a very close friend of my father. They actually went to Yeshiva Torah together in the 50s. And my father had so much respect for him. And I lost my father when he was very young, over 30 years ago. And Mr. Spiegel I always felt that special warmth from him when he spoke to me. And he always spoke to me like a nephew almost, with that warmth. And I will never forget his warmth and his kindness. And he always had a joke for me. He always had something to tell me that would put a smile on my face. And that's how I remember him, with a smile and making people all around him smile. And the Rebbe Shem should hope that the entire family should have a nechama, and he should continue carrying on his beautiful tradition of smiling and radiating that simcha and that smile to everybody around you.
Hi, this is Rachel Wolf, Barry and Susie Wolf's daughter from New Jersey. Uncle Bunny was my great uncle, and I have so many amazing memories going to visit in Toronto. And it's just such a sad time for everybody. And I wish Auntie Adrienne and the whole family lots of nechama, and we will really miss Uncle Bunny a lot.
We're getting ready to conclude this meeting, so I'll just ask if anybody wants to wish nechama to please do so now.
Excuse me.